Federal High Court in Kano State has disqualified Professor Sani Malumfashi from his position as chairman of the Kano State Independent Electoral Commission, KANSEC, just days before the local government elections scheduled for October the 26th. The court, presided over by Justice Simon Amobeda, ruled that Malumfashi and 5 other members of the commission were ineligible due to their affiliation with the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, in violation of constitutional and electoral laws. The case was brought by Aminu Tiga and the All Progressives Congress, APC, challenging the partisan membership of KANSEC officials. Justice Amobeda held that the appointment contravened sections of the 1999 Constitution and the Kano State Independent Electoral Commission law. As a result, the court barred KANSEC from conducting the local government elections until legally qualified officials are appointed. Well, for a conversation on the court judgment sacking the Kano State Independent Electoral Commission chairman and how it will affect the conduct of the polls as well as local government autonomy, we're now joined by a chieftain of the New Nigeria People's Party, Buba, Galadima. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Thank you very much, Tope, for having me on this program this afternoon.
Well, let's start with your thoughts on the court ruling sacking the chairman of KANSEC just a few days to the local government election. What do you make of this?
Well, thank you very much again. I am very saddened today. And if you look at my face, you would observe that I'm not a happy man. And I don't want to make pronouncements because each time I make pronouncements on certain issues, they come to pass. I see a lot of fog, a lot of cloud hovering over our country. I hope we are not thrown into crisis by the manner and way certain judicial officials conduct themselves and portraying themselves as extremely partisan, and they are associated in the public with certain political parties or certain highly placed individuals. This is a sorry state for our country, and I plead with the Chief Justice of the Federation, Madam Kekere Okun, the President of the Court of Appeal, and also the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, to look at these issues and address it very, very quickly, because the image of the judiciary has been painted in black light. And when the ordinary man loses hope in the judiciary, it means only chaos that can prevail. And when certain stratas of government or certain individuals decide to disobey court rules, then we are going into anarchy. Please, I'm saying this with all sense of responsibility, that the judiciary should sit up. By their oath of office, they are supposed to be neutral. They are supposed to give justice without fear or favor, even to their enemies and their parents and children alike. But what is happening in Nigeria is that the judiciary is no more the last hope of the common man, but it is the last hope of the strongest man, or the person with the deepest pocket. This is most unfortunate. Most unfortunate. I think something should be done very, very quickly to prop the image of the judiciary. That is one. 2, I want to say that it is not about this ruling of yesterday. The Kano Independent Electoral Commission had gone to court on the 24th of September and filed an ex parte motion, which they addressed the court And the respondents were all the remaining 19 political parties, that either them or their agents should do anything to tamper with the preparations or the conduct of the local government elections in Kano. And Justice Sanusi Adomaji of Court 5 Kano gave an ex parte order stopping or preventing anybody, including the security agencies, from tampering or interfering in the conduct of the said election, and fixed a date or notice for all the parties to appear before him, which they appeared, and he's going to give a judgment tomorrow. Kano High Court. Justice Amebode or Amobade, as you know, is one of the most controversial judges in this country. You know his role during the Kano Emirship tussle. Himself and Justice, I don't know, what do you call him? One of the justices of the Kano High Court who has been promoted to the Court of Appeal. We know their role. This is our country, Nigeria. I'm saddened and feel like shedding tears. This judge was transferred out of Kano last month by the president, by the chief judge of the Federal High Court. And yet, APC bigwigs prevailed on the chief judge and returned the same man to Kano to do to do what they want. He is now again back to Kano, and this is his first controversial appearance.
Well, thank
Tope
you.
and Bolale, I want to tell you that just calm down, please. This is a very serious issue, please. Our country is going the drains. We may have to run helter-skelter very soon. During General Gowon's 90 days anniversary, on Sunday, at ECOWAS Secretariat, Banquet Hall, somebody unknown to me moved to me and told me that there is going to be a judgment on Tuesday on Kano local government elections. And it has already been decided that the judge will not only stop the election, but he will sack all the electoral, all the Kansek empire in Kano. I told him, how can he? He said, well, wait and see. I just dismissed it with a wave of hand. Unfortunately, I am now a foolish man. I could have listened to him and issued a statement on Monday over what had happened yesterday in Kano. And exactly as the man told me, that was what had happened. The details of the case before the judge was that the APC, which was stopped by a ruling of the Kano High Court, which has the exclusive jurisdiction on state laws, preventing any registered political party from interfering in the conduct of that election, has now been breached by the same judge as he did in the Kano Emirship tussle. Now, what was his ruling? What was before him? Stop the election, and they said members of the Kansek were card-carrying members of the NNPP. I challenged the judge, Justice Omobede, to come out and show the world where Professor Manumfashi, of any of his commissioners, is a registered member of NNPP, or that they went to INEC and they have a certified copy of the list of registered members of the NNPP where the names of the chairman and his commissioners are members of the NNPP. It was not before him. I challenge him. And that he relied on an affidavit which was denied by another affidavit that these people were wearing red cap. So anybody that wears red cap, including President Bola Tinubu, is a member of the NNPP. That's what the man is trying to say. This is absolutely hearsay. And it is not something that any sane individual will respect this judgment. Of course, we advised that the CANSEC should rush to the court today and file an appeal and file a stay of execution. I just hope they had done that. But even if they have not done that, if I were you, Bolale or Tope, will you follow the first order of the High Court, which has original jurisdiction over the state laws to conduct the election, or will you follow the Federal High Court, which is a political high court in Kano, just being used by the NNPP to destabilize the Kano state government? Which one would any Nigerian follow? For me, if I'm given the opportunity, I will ask Kano SEC to continue with the election. Let what happen will happen.
All right, thank you, Mr. Galadima. We'll leave that to the court to decide. But in the event that this drags on till, the end of October, which of course we know that there are reports that President Bola Tinubu may implement the Supreme Court ruling by the end of October, meaning that local governments may have their federal allocations seized by the federal government in line with the Supreme Court ruling on local government autonomy. Do you see the Kano state meeting up with this deadline?
No, I don't think President Bola Tinubu is as foolish as those people in Kano. They have decided, we know, that first on Saturday during the election, they will deploy about 200,000 policemen because they are using they want to use the IG. I hope the IG deserves to go for a tutorial on civil responsibilities of police in other countries of the world. I wish he should do that, because the way the IG acts and behaves, he's trying to tarnish the image of Mr. President and also make Mr. President very unpopular, because I assume that Mr. President is a Democrat. And the way the police and other arms of the judiciary are behaving, I don't think they are assisting Mr. President. They are destroying him. They are destroying democracy. And if democracy is destroyed, Mr. President is going to be the loser. So they said they will deploy, that's what we are hearing, rumors, that they will deploy about 200,000 policemen to stop CANSEC from carrying out their statutory duty of conducting local government elections. But the IG should go and ask the Chief Justice of the Federation. It was a ruling of the Supreme Court of Nigeria that all states must conduct local government elections, or else, and then the president now says, if you don't do that, after 3 months, we will cut local government funding to those states. And the president and the governor sat down and agreed that by the end of October, every state must have carried out those local government elections. So, is it now the Inspector General of Police that will now deploy police to Kano to stop the elections in contravention of the agreement of Mr. President and the governors? Or is it Justice Omobede of Kano High Court that his ruling will now supersede the ruling of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? This is for us to see. And I can't see President Bola Tinubu as an accountant himself trying to stop the funds meant for local government elections. He knows the gravity and the severity of this, because President Olusegun Obasanjo had in 1999 or 2000 or so, did the same thing to him. I'm sure he was not pleased with what had happened to him. And God said in all his books, the Quran and the Bible, that do unto others as you would want to do to yourself. So I can't see President Tinubu, who wanted an election to be done, that one man who he appointed as Inspector General of Police can stop that. They have this, either it is stopped on Saturday or they are writing a petition as I speak to you. We know those who are writing the petition to President to stop local government funding to Kano State. I don't think the President is in a position to do that, especially that we have a court order earlier than this one, which says we must conduct these elections.
Now, very well said. From your responses so far, it's clear that you believe the judiciary is biased, and corrupt. So what do you think can be done to clean up the system and restore the integrity of the judiciary?
Well, Justice Kekere Okun has got a lot to do for her image. She is now, the box stops on her table. She had to summon the presiding officers of the various levels of judiciary and really discuss this matter. Do they want to be subservient to the executive such that people borrow Mr. President's name? And I want Mr. President to know that they use his name to say the president has said so. Why should any judge listen to anybody, even including Mr. President, that this is the way he must deliver judgment? Are we trying to create anarchy? Does Mr. President want his government to collapse? Does Mr. President want to truncate democracy, which all his life he has fought for because of some useless individuals around who wanted to maintain closeness to government by showing him that they are fighting his enemies? Which democracy thrives without opposition? Mr. President must accept, and his people must accept the fact that opposition is part and parcel of democracy. If this is not wanted in Nigeria, then let's all decide and make it a monarchy and elect Mr. President Bola Tinubu as the king of Nigeria.
Well, you talked about the fact that there have been court rulings and some people have been flouting court rulings. And the notion or the impression that you created that the election may take place despite the court ruling on Saturday, wouldn't that be flouting the court ruling?
What do you mean? We obeyed a court order. The first court order was for us to conduct the elections. Look, let me tell you something. When the issue of Kano Emirship tussle was going on, I had the privilege of speaking to a very senior member of this government at federal level. And I asked him, why are you people interfering in chieftaincy matters, which are at best stops at the desk of the governor? It is a local government issue because the emir of Kano is not supposed to travel without taking a permission from local government chairman. You at federal level, what have you got to do with that? Whether you like the man appointed or you don't like him. And the man said, well, we want to show them that we have power. I said, it's okay. Let's assume that this case goes up to Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court says, oh, yes, the emir appointed did not follow the rules or did not follow the law. If the Supreme Court says that, I asked him, can you appoint an emir from the villa to be taken to Kano? Or is it still the governor that can appoint one? He couldn't answer me. So I don't know. People are just, you look at them, you think they are intelligent, but they are just glorified fools. It annoys me that at this my age, somebody will try to tell me what is right or what is bad. And I feel bad that maybe I will not live long enough to see the kind of Nigeria of my dream. No. Where no man is oppressed, where everybody has an opportunity. that the government formed by any party is our own government. It's a Nigerian government. It's not a political party government. Once you are elected and you swear by the Quran or the Bible, you should work for everybody. Don't believe that because you are in a transient position of power that you will not have a day of reckoning with Almighty God.
Mr. Buba Galadima, NMPP chieftain, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.